Hey, hi. That was too loud, and I'm sorry about that. If it really was. Um, I just want to say, I guess this time around, because earlier I've tried to live stream and it just wasn't working out. But this time around, let's just say, hey, welcome to a exclusively recorded episode of the Untitled Goon podcast, episode 4. Shoot. World burning, Byleths coming to smash. It's your boy 9C Salt, your usual main head of this podcast. Um, the others are very late. They're just out and about with their own lives, which is fine. Honestly, it's not their fault. I'm not very good at I haven't been very good at letting people know that yeah, we're on for like this time. Uh, I mean, not that really should stop them from like their IRL stuff, but yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing. And right now it's a very solo episode for me. Damn, Microsoft Edge really slow right now. And yeah, so in the meantime, I'm gonna take advantage of this moment to try to host this episode on my own to the best of my abilities because really, uh, why is there dropped frames? Why am I getting stuff about dropped frames? And now the music is. Oh no, it's back on. It's stuttering. I think at this point it's pretty much confirmed that my internet is just acting up tonight. So I think it's for the best that I record this time around. Unfortunately, but yeah, this is episode 4. Moving on. This is episode 4. As I said, this is episode 4. World burning. Byleths arrive. I probably said that episode name wrong. My bad. But welcome anyways. It's me, your boy 9C Salt. The others are late. They'll be coming around like later. But in the meantime, this gives me a chance to try out like handling the episode on my own and seeing where it goes. In a more audio related space. Like you just enjoy the background of my computer for this moment and see the stuff I have open in the bottom. I should probably like not have that be a thing, but what can you do? In this episode, I'm just gonna be talking about like the unfortunate Australia fires, um, and Byleth on his way to is just made it to Smash, or at least will be actually in the game pretty soon. And one last tidbit that's really just me just talking about stuff. Wow, okay. Some things first. I'm gonna do an announcement of sorts, and it's that pretty soon because I realized that I like doing this whole podcasting. This whole podcasting is pretty fun for me. At least I like to think that I prefer doing this more than like playing a game and then trying to do commentary over it because I feel more focused on like what I want to say, and I'm not very active when it comes to playing video games and being good at them. So but yeah, I'm saying this now because the Untitled Goon podcast has been for me uh like a passion project I want to make into like a thing for like for the foreseeable future for myself. And the Entitled Goon podcast is a group podcast. It's basically the Avengers and Justice League for my Discord server that I'm in. It's been something I want to do for a long time, and I'm actually started like putting it out there. And even though it's a little bit early, and you could definitely say overconfident of me to try to do this now when this series isn't really doesn't really pack many numbers. It's definitely I definitely feel like at this point I want to try out like basically doing another one, and this one as the untitled Goon podcast is like the Avengers and Justice League movie of like a little thing. This one, this side podcast that I'm doing is gonna be like the solo movie for myself, and I already summed up like part of that concept. And this is also me transitioning to explain the concept. This is the basically 9 Sea Salt podcast. To summarize it, this is my podcast where I talk about this future podcast will be my podcast where I talk about stuff that I feel more in my element on my own to talk about it rather than in the group. Cause I'm just interested right at this moment to just talk about it and try to throw it out there as a thing for people to enjoy, and you know, a lot of it won't be too different from this one. Let's see, I have the page, my concept page document open up in Chrome. But yeah, this side podcast is just me like talking about stuff, not so much about like current events and pop culture, but more so just things that are on my mind. I feel like talking about how I view them and stuff. But I mean, it's still gonna be like a variety thing, like UGP, which is short for Untitled Goon Podcast, and I'm just gonna from this moment forward call it that because it's easier on me um, to say. But yeah, it's still gonna. This one is still gonna be like a sort of variety podcast where I talk about a number of things. But I want this to be more like this one. I mean, this podcast is this UGP is already has like a sort of niche thing going on. I like to think based on like the kind of people talking here, or I don't know, especially in relation to my friend group who I guess when joined together make form this like neutral entity, this neutral space, like Switzerland, basically as most people would describe it. You know, we don't belong to like this one thought process or another. We try to be objective and stuff, or not have like too much bias that belongs to like the majority groups. No, not too many ultimatums. This one I want to keep that spirit on my part, on my end. Which is part of the reason why I'm taking advantage of the fact that the others are gonna be very late this time around. Which is because like I want to try to do my own thing on like on the side. Uh, and this would probably be a good test run for it, even though like it's only gonna be like a solo moment for like the first half, and I'm kind of excited about it. It gives me a chance to like put myself out there with a content form that I like, or probably would like more than I usually do. Um, Another thing is that in terms of and in terms of like time of when it happens, I don't have anything set. This is still like a work in progress. I don't really have a real title. The title that I have, like, this is just like a placement. Is 9C's Idea Zone, and I don't really like it. Sounds kind of lame. Sounds like a podcast or a show dedicated to like ideas, which is kind of what it is, but it feels like I don't want to make it sound like it's only about that. I'm not like the idea channel that used to be on YouTube, which is pretty good. You should watch it because like, I feel like some stuff is still holds up pretty well today right now. And there's my mom singing. Please ignore any sound that doesn't sound like my voice. People in my house are loud. Anyways, yeah, there's no set time. I don't have anything planned about it being monthly or weekly in terms of it being a daily series. That's is a no go at this moment for me because I'm a college student and I don't know, even after I graduate, I don't know what's gonna really happen with me. So no promises in any way. This is just gonna be me doing my thing in my zone. Uh, and in production, I won't be doing this live, mainly because I feel like I don't want to do it. I want to try to. This is also gonna be like this point me trying to learn how to make a more professional, semi-professional podcast, and it's like quality. So I'm still doing research on like how to do that in terms of like apparently hosting sites and whatnot and getting this stuff put up on like other on platforms like actual podcast specific platforms or platforms that support the upload of podcasts because I want to spread the range a bit more and you know not just for like this side one I'm doing but also for like the ones in the future for UGP and get all the other episodes up there too. Oh my god, house phone. Hold on. I'm sorry. Oh boy. I didn't really mute myself. I hold on to the mute button for too long. Um Yikes. And this is what happens when I still live with my parents while going to school. These things happen and I don't really plan on taking that out. But back on topic, yeah, this is gonna be a thing I wanna do. Uh and I hopefully it'll help me become better at this. Try to produce better things like in the future, and maybe make podcasting like a thing of mine in the future. Other things to keep a note about it. Since I did say it's a solo podcast, anything that involves like guests will be kept into like special guest. Da da da. Not like oh yeah, it's me plus this one other person like every time we do this. And because like this is about me. This is especially about me being becoming better at podcasting on in terms of my own abilities because as of since the past first four episodes because I'm obviously gonna count episode zero because that one's an actual whole episode but this one I'm gonna keep uh, anyone joining me to a minimum. I'm only gonna keep it to those who might be interested in like the topics I'm throwing out there if I reach out to them to talk about it. And yeah, um I'm still gonna keep it lighthearted and stuff. And, and I hope it'll turn out to be super dope and you guys enjoy that one and UGP um for as long as I am able to continue this. And one other thing is that I spent this in the live stream, but because of how like my internet has been dookie tonight, I'm just gonna explain this again. For future UGP podcasts, I'm gonna try out like having music in the background, eh, and the stream chat in on screen as well. For whenever we do, at least for whenever we do like actual live streams, we'll have the stream chat up in case we want to interact with anyone with without much issues. Um, and see where that takes us. Add something in the background that isn't just us talking, and engage with viewers for when we are interested in seeing what others feel, how others feel about it. And yeah, uh, hopefully you guys will enjoy it. If it doesn't work out, we can easily just stop. Uh, Maybe not the music one. I probably keep it around unless it really is just annoying. Um, I'm also gonna try to work on like the tidbit with the this on my desktop. I'm trying to fix that to be something else. Just because looking at someone's desktop with the taskbar on the bottom isn't really the funnest thing to do, but I don't know how else to do it. So yeah, long story short, I'm gonna start a side podcast. It's not gonna be live stream. It's gonna be recorded. It's gonna be cool. It's just gonna be just like a solo thing. But I'm not gonna make replace or and get rid of UGP. That's not gonna happen. And with that out of the way, uh, I'm gonna move on to our topics. Now, when I tried to live stream it earlier, when I tried to live streamed it earlier, I started off talking about the Australian fires, but I'm gonna skip that for like when the others, Kenny and Hakeem, appear, uh, so that they can like add their piece on it, because it's definitely one of those things where I feel like I really do need their input on it. Even though I feel like they're just gonna agree with me about how bad it is, and we're gonna end up agreeing on like the positives about it. Um, but so I'm just gonna skip to like the one of the other topics, which is Byleth is coming to Smash and is the I guess the fifth fighter announced. Do 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 do. And as usual, when people announce a Fire Emblem character for this game, a lot of people just aren't happy about it. And I guess for me to summarize how I think of it, I think cool because it's not a big deal to me. But more importantly, Byleth looks interesting, you know? And I feel like part of my problem with this whole thing, why like when a Fire Emblem character gets announced for DLC, people have such a negative reaction to it, is because like it's blown out of proportion, and I kind of do blame like Marth's family for this. And by Marth's family, I'm 100% talking about Marth, of course, Lucina, and Chrom. Why them and not Corin, Robin, and Byleth? Because Lucina and Marth are actual Echo Fighters of one another. They have practically the same kit. And even though Crom is more like a mishmash of like Ike, Roy, and some others, I guess he's not helping. And I feel like even though I'm not gonna stop anyone from like saying, yeah, I'm not, I'm sleep on Byleth, I'm sleep on the Fire Emblem character. I feel like they're just being like big babies about it. You know, I'm not gonna sugarcoat how I'm seeing it. I feel like people are just like the people who are actually being very very negative about it instead of just being like I'm sleep. I feel like they're just blowing this out of proportion because like I feel like people are just overreacted by the number of the characters there are. You know what's going on, and and saying that they're just copy pasting one another, which isn't really like true at all. Especially when we look at Robin, Ike, and at this point Byleth, because those three are, oh, and Corrin, because those four are basically the most unique of the Fire Emblem cast of the game. Robin because he's like a mage. They're a mage. Magic is basically their whole like theme. They only just have the sword because it's the Levin sword. Are you not gonna give a character like Robin the Levin sword? Especially with like how magical it is. I never played their games. I don't really play Fire Emblem, so take what I said with a grain of salt before I go any further. But wouldn't you give that to like any other character that's like Robin? I feel like it's only fair that you do. And then we got Ike, been around since Brawl. Now Ike is like the heaviest of them. He has a great sword. He doesn't do this anything like Marth. He literally just fucking cleaves you in everything he does. He's strong as shit, and that's the end of it. But he got biceps, and now his neutral bead has pillars on him, so you know. So that's basically him. Roy is probably like a hard thing to sell, considering how in Melee he was literally just Marth but fire. But he's a reformed Marth clone. He doesn't do the exact same thing as Marth anymore. The only thing he has left is like Blade Dance, and that's about it. That's all he has left now. But even then, he's still different enough. He's definitely a little bit more rushed down. He's definitely a little bit more slower in his aerial. Okay, yeah. Like I said, Roy's a little bit harder to sell. I feel like because there's still a bunch of him that's like how he is, like how most people recognize him as. But there's still enough of him that I feel like is just original. But they obviously didn't want to get rid of who he is, so that's why they kind of made him and his mechanics more of a rush down and aggressiveness rather than like whatever playstyle Martha Lucina have going on. And then we got Byleth. We haven't seen everything from them, but based on like what we did see from the direct, they're a weapon master, man. They're the weapon master class. Remember weapon master? Remember that class from like what's the name? Conquest and like and it's like and the other version of it. Let's see. Yeah, Fire Emblem Fates. Remember that class? I mean, that's just the name of the general game. But yeah, you get the gist of it. Remember that one? We can just use any, I guess, for the main core weapons. Yeah, he's like that. So they can use a bow. You know, they literally are nothing like the other ones. Literally nothing like them. It is by default from the jump. They have a whip sword. Like it's a sword character. Well, at least the sword, his sword is cooler, man. And then Corrin, because nobody gives a shit about Corrin, I guess. Corrin's thing is just about them being like a half dragon person, having dragon powers and using them. And then their sword is pretty cool. I mean, sure, it's still a sword, but it's a sword that's practically a chainsaw. So there you go. So there's that, and then people will be like, "Oh, I saw 1,000 Fire Emblem characters." Fire Emblem character is like, let me count the number again. We got Marth, Ike, Byleth, Corrin, Robin, and then Chrom and Lucina as like the Echo Fighters. I don't know if Chrom is an actual Echo Fighter officially. I don't remember that. I don't. It doesn't matter. Point is, it's like 5, 7 if you want to count Lucina and Chrom as their own thing. Just which is makes it 7. It's really not that bad. I feel like at that point you're just really people are just more frustrated about like the consistency of Fire Emblem like releasing some stuff for themselves. On Smash. I mean, come on. People can't forget Fire Emblem is very well liked in Japan. Even then, this time around, the Nintendo higher ups, not Sakurai, but the higher ups are the ones who chose it. So he was coming in regardless. I kind of low key like called it too. I didn't call Fire Emblem, but I did call him like first party coming in. So really, the only thing people really have any right to complain about is like the consistency of Fire Emblem DLC coming out. And I know a lot of people want other characters to show up that they feel like deserve like representation. Some good rep. But between like a game that has like the Super Mario series, and when I say Super Mario, that includes like I'm including WarioWare, Yoshi's Island, and Donkey Kong because like they're under that tree. They're under that tree. I mean, sure, King K. Rool pulled up because a lot of people want him there. I think he's really more like more for rare, especially with DK series. But DK is related to the Super Mario universe, anyways. And they're part of that family, especially Wario. Wario, he first existed in a Super Mario game. That's where he first pulled up. And then because he became popular, he got his own little series from the Wario games, like Wario World and whatever, Wario Land, Wario Shake It, and then the WarioWare games. And then Yoshi, Yoshi's Island, he's a big boy enough to warrant having his own little symbol and stuff going on. The Yoshi Island series is pretty popular spinoff. But between that and then Pokemon and then Fire Emblem and then Legend of Zelda, if decisions were made, they were definitely gonna put people between those series in there. I feel like the only other issue is that if there were anyone else who deserves like that same amount of consistency in DLC being released, it'd be Pokemon. You can argue Mario, Definitely not, especially since like Piranha Plant became a character, and then Legend of Zelda have plenty of characters that you can take in and be like, yeah, we can make this work. And now with Piranha Plant's case, like you can say for the others, you could put in a lot of other characters in for stuff. But then again, Piranha Plant is a special case because they're lucky enough to have an actual large variety of different damn piranha plants that do different things. And it just mishmash into like the one ultimate super soldier piranha plant. So here we are. And if they were to do that for anyone else, they're probably gonna have to dig deep and pull a whole lot of shit out of their ass to do anything. So, oh, hold on. And sorry about that. People were talking to me. Uh, oh my god. Don't come into my room. Anyways, yeah. I feel like people are being unfair to Fire Emblem. They only really should be upset about the consistency of it. If Fire Emblem characters didn't release as consistent as they did, as consistently as they did, as far as anyone have noticed during the past few years, then I feel like things would have been just fine. But just to drive my point home, let's look up how many Fire Emblem games there are. So we got them. I asked the wrong question. Oh, how many Fire Emblem games are there? 16 games. There are currently 16 games, including remakes of like earlier games that have been made. Out of all 16 of those games, about 7 of them who are main characters made it. Because the one that has the games that have Marth, Lucina, Roy, Ike, Crom, all the ones that are in Smash ended up standing out more. Even though even though a lot of people feel like, oh, well, there's a lot of characters they could have put in. Things clearly didn't work out. Shit, it wasn't until like what 2003 they have a game that's explicitly called. Okay, okay, wait. I'm Sorry about that. Luckily for me, this is like a recorded podcast this time around. So by the time I release it, it'll be edit. I'll be editing out parts where there's like prolonged pauses or whatever. So this isn't a big deal. But yeah, this is the life of a person who lives in a house with people who need him like at all times. And even though I would tell them before I start doing this, hey, I'm doing recording something for YouTube or whatever. Haha, yeah, I'm doing something else that isn't just playing games. They're gonna forget it and they're not gonna really care. So, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, Byleth and Smash. It's not a big deal. Okay, I'm gonna just end it there. It's not a big deal. You're gonna live. Okay. You know, I mean, there's still gonna be people who will moan and complain. There's still gonna be people who'll be like, ah, Fire Emblem. He's like the 5,000 fireable character. Oh, this is just another clone, but exactly like Mars. No, he doesn't. Not this time, buddy. Not this time. Not this time. So let's slow it down. Let's slow it down. Besides, people cannot. I feel like this time around, people aren't allowed to complain because a lot of people have been bitching and moaning about a whole bunch of characters that got released. You know, Joker and Plant, you know, they got it off easy, but then they got but then Banjo and Terry came around. People were divided on that. Like, whoa, why would they put in this thing? Oh, this and that, blah blah blah. It's not a big deal. You'll live, okay? The only real thing you gotta complain about is consistency. Cause admittedly, you know, that's that's where most of their love comes from. Like, oh man, Smash Brothers. Time to put in a Fire Emblem character for DLC. Oh, but what if I want this person from this series to come around? Ugh, better luck. Better luck next game, to be honest. By the way, hashtag yo, put Dracula in Smash. I'm just memeing on that one because I'm not actually trying to start a thing, but I do want to see that man in Smash. Don't, don't tell me he is in Smash as a boss character. No, you know what I mean. I want him to be. Let me lower myself down. I'm touching the yellow levels on the volume on the on the mic, but yeah, don't tell me he's in the game. Yeah, he's a boss character, but damn it, him and Marks should be put in the game as something playable. At least Marks, man. Kirby, all they got for Kirby characters in his game is Kirby himself and Dedede and Meta Knight. Granted, those are like the big three of the series, man. They're like the big three. But Mark should definitely appear, man. Come on, that man was walling out like when he first came around and revealed himself as like the final boss, man. The fact that people want Bandanity over Marks is crazy. But considering Piranha Plant, I guess they're justified for that. But I don't care, cause I'm a grimy boy. I'm grimy about it. I'm a stinkies. Let's see, what else deserves? Yeah, Dracula. Put Dracula in the game. Okay. You got Belmonts. Might as well put Dracula in the game. Don't even trip about anything. I mean, shit. People been asking for really to come around. You know what? They made him work. They can definitely make Dracula work. I feel like they don't have any excuses for this one. Metroid, I don't know. I haven't played in the series myself actively. I just know it because of like it's popular. Metroid and Castlevania or the mom and dads, or the mom and dad who gave birth to like that respective genre they practically represent. So yeah, Metroid needs another one because really they've been stuck on Zero Suit and regular armored Samus for so long. I mean, it's cool that Ridley's in there. It's cool that I guess Dark Samus appeared as like an Echo Fighter. They definitely need to put in someone else. Now I don't know who else they can put from that series, but they gotta do something. Bayonetta deserves like definitely have Jean, even though Jean will end up being an Echo Fighter. They need Jean, and they should throw in like Bayonetta's dad in there too, cause like he was doing his thing. They can make him work. Shit, they can't say no. Bayonetta is in the game. Those two should be in the game. Clearly. No excuses, man. Who else? Who else should be in this game? Who else? I like how this conversation evolved from me talking about how people are complaining about Byleth too much to me saying talk about who needs more representation. Like which series? I guess Final Fantasy. Like whoever they want to put in. Now I'm gonna vote for Terra since she was like the first like main protagonist in that series who was female. Like the actual like main definitive lead. I don't know if there was anyone else before her in a spinoff or anything, but definitely put her in. If not her, Lightning. They definitely can put Lightning in. They can make her work, even though yeah, they could just make her work. But Square Enix, to my knowledge, has been pretty damn greedy about things. So I guess we should be happy that I guess the Dragon Quest heroes, the Dragon Quest protagonists get to appear and exist to do their thing. I guess if we were to get any representation of any series, that would just devolve into just like, oh, the goddamn, uh, like Square Enix reps, not even reps for their respective series, just reps of Square Enix. We got Cloud for Final Fantasy because he's pretty much the poster boy. And as much as people say he's overrated, he's still a pretty good character. I like his story. I don't care. Uh, we got him. We got the Dragon Quest heroes to be represent Dragon Quest. I might as well put in like the definitive lead of like the Secret of Mana. Chrono Trigger is owned by Square Enix too, so they got that guy. Throw him in there. Throw in the guys for the Trials of Mana. If it can screw it. But I don't know who the Nintendo whoever make the decisions on who gets to appear in the DLCs. I don't know what how they base their decisions on, but you know, fuck it. They got their thing going on. I don't know how they're doing this, but I feel like they've been doing pretty good so far. Ignoring like how people feel about Fire Emblem appearing because can't ignore who they feel like is super important to them to be in this game. I guess there's still a lot of characters that need to be in. I guess they can add in like another like they could definitely throw in like another Kid Kid Icarus game rep practically Medusa, but I feel like Medusa would just end up being an echo of like Palutena. They could also put in Hades, but I don't know how they gonna. I don't know how he'd play out. They could also throw in like Thanatos or Viridi. Those are definitely good ones to put in. Let's see what else we got. Street Fighter. You know, you might as well put in Chun-Li. Don't even trip. Unless they put in Sakura, which also works, but people are just gonna complain that, oh my god, another these fucking like Shoto characters, man. Oof. No. That is better off they don't put in Akuma because like, you know what? Fuck it. You know, feel bad for the people who hyped themselves up for thinking Dante was gonna appear in Smash. Not gonna lie, they had themselves in the first half, but as we all saw, things took a disappointing turn, apparently, which is pretty damn sad, but could be a lot worse. Um, Definitely could be a lot worse, but man, imagine that man appearing in Smash as a playable character. I don't know. I feel like they wouldn't be able to do him justice. For the same reason why I don't really want Doom Guy to appear in Smash. Like, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna rip on like him because he's like I'm for mature because Palutena is in there and like I think there's one other rated game character in there, Joker. Then again, a game only has the M rating because of like the whole well a number of things I guess. I guess makes him a little bit more explicit for that rating. But at least with Dante, they could just put him in there without any issues because of like they can just make him do stuff without it looking brutal because Dante isn't fighting style isn't really brutal. Doom guys is brutal, and you know, making him a guy who can basically rip demons apart with his bare hands and smash, and he literally does that in the most brutal, gory way as possible. It wouldn't look as cool and appealing in that setting. He definitely would probably somehow force them to like have to raise their rating a bit or make some big changes, and they can't really do that, I think. Well, my biggest like concern about him appearing in Smash is just like, oh, this Doom guy, he rips people apart, rip and tear. But the ripping and tearing doesn't look as cool in Smash Bros. Because it doesn't have that it has that oomph in terms of it looking like it hit hard, but it doesn't have that really oomph that's like, oh man, that guy really fucking died. Then that's why he's kind of would work better as like a guest character in like Mortal Kombat or Killer Instinct instead of Smash Bros. And then we got Master Chief. Man, oh man, I wouldn't really be excited about him. Maybe because like I mean, sure, they can make him work too. I mean, just give him like the energy sword thing, and you know, most of his attacks will just end up being like, you know, with that. His kid would just be guns, though. You know, him shooting and shit. I mean, what else can you really? How much can you? There's only so much you could do with him and Doom Guy, you know. I mean, they got stuff that makes him. I mean, they got stuff and they all look cool. But every time I try to imagine it, it's be like, okay, guns, you shoot, they hit hard. And then with Master Chief, he'll just be like, if Snake was a super soldier. I mean, Snake is practically one already in a lot of ways, but Chief more explicitly is like a super soldier. And he'll just be like Snake, and even though he'll definitely be different enough from him, that would he. I feel like he wouldn't have too much that they would have to like either leave out or just kind of make kind of ass. And then with Doom Guy, you don't have to put in every gun, but I'm just gonna end up going. But I'm just gonna go back to the whole like who Doom Guy is wouldn't be as cool in Smash as it would be in other games he could be a guest character in or whatever. I mean, I could be wrong. Other people probably imagine and be like, yeah, that's so fucking cool. But uh, he's definitely significantly more interesting when you actually see him rip people apart limb from limb, rather than like, you know, it looks like it, but it's not happening. So, but good luck to anyone who thinks he's gonna be in the game because like their chances are pretty slim from where I'm standing. Now, oh, by the way, here's a hot take. Just because Cubhead and Sans are in the game doesn't really make him in the game, and that's a big sleep on me. Oh my God, Sans costume! It's Sans. He's in the game. No, he's not. That just a dude in a Sans costume. That's like seeing Ronald McDonald in real life. No, that's not Ronald McDonald. That's Ronald McDonald number. That's Ronald McDonald actor number 3005. It's not the same. Same with Cuphead. Oh my God, it's Cuphead. He's in the game. No, that's a dude in a Cuphead costume. I want the real Cuphead in the game. I want the real Sans in the game. Don't be cowards. But that's enough of me being a dick. Um, let's see what else I got. What else I got going on to throw at people? Yeah, that's about it on it. I mean, I could just easily just sum everything up as Fire Emblem fans don't know what they really want. There's no point. I mean, not Fire Emblem Smash fans, which isn't like untrue, but ain't doing any of y'all justice either. It probably really wouldn't be. That should be pretty grimy to just like generalize everything like that. But what can you do? What can you do? But that's enough about that. What would be my next topic to talk about? Because this week has been pretty low on like actual topics. Really, the main one that I was looking forward to, question mark, question mark, question mark, was the Nintendo Direct. I guess the only thing left I can say that I wanna see is damn, 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 damn. You know what? Let me take this moment to talk about like, let's see, what would be a good thing to talk about this moment? Cause this podcast wasn't gonna last for too long. this time around. Anyways, probably would be one of the more shorter episodes. I guess I could just skip to the part about the Australian fires, even though I did say I want to wait for the rest of the group to appear. I need stuff to talk about. Oof, 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 oof. Oh, I know what I really want to talk about. Talk about right now. Goddamn, Cyberpunk 2077 got freaking delayed. Like, damn. Though I shouldn't really be surprised that it did. As the dev said, they've put in a whole bunch of shit to do in that game. And I can't imagine by adding in like a, a metric ton of content in that one game, and a one teensy bit of game cause issues, or there'd be some issue vulnerabilities going on, and you know this this type of thing would bound to happen completely. So it breaks my heart to see that going down. But on the bright side, at least I'll be excited. Because when it comes to, I guess, devs like CD Projekt Red, I definitely have more faith in things working out for the better through delays than other developers or publishers, both. Cause like let's think about this. Let's think about this. Okay? People say that if a game is delayed, that's a good thing. And a lot of the times that's true. But it really is dependent on who's doing that, right? Cause a lot of devs probably delayed games a bunch of times, and the game still comes out kind of garbage, kind of like not that great. For what reason? Who knows? I have no idea why. But that's the end result. Now, guys like CD Projekt Red, at least they have a good record of like something like that happening, and things will be okay. Like things will work out just fine. They haven't really failed anyone yet, and hmm, so there's no real reason to be worried about it. And I guess since I'm on the talk about Cyberpunk 2077, I might as well talk about what I'm gonna be most excited for once it does drop, which is like just the whole game in general. And I guess the whole min-maxing nature of the game. Like, okay, I'm not really a min-maxer, right? Because I'm not really interested in putting all that effort and time in trying to figure out how to do anything and what will be the best way to do this and what will be most optimal to do this X amount of damage, how to make sure I survive at all times, you know, all that kind of stuff. And damn, I'm really distracting myself with my phone. I'm a freaking dummy for doing that. Anyways, yeah, this is just one of those games where you make your character and you really can just do like anything. I guess it's only fair because they are basing it off of a tabletop RPG. When you play tabletop RPGs, you tend to end up creating like the ultimate character you want for that session, for that little campaign. Do make him stand out with all this stuff, and it's only fair that when you make a game based off like a tabletop RPG series, you might as well make sure that that kind of spirit stays alive as best as like the limits of game creating allows you to, which I can say the same for anything D&D related in terms of any D&D video game, but the best you can do is like what, a handful of games. Though it's also good to like, I guess, especially when you based on like Cyberpunk's example so far from all those demos and like gameplays they show, to be really loose about trying to capture the spirit of those types of tabletop games, because like as much fun as they are kind of limiting on what you can or can't do with this stuff or that stuff and making it work, which I guess I appreciate for like the skill tree that they showed off in the games in earlier trailers where they're like there's no set classes or subclasses. You just gotta work on builds based off like whatever class exists in the Cyberpunk 20 whatever the that tabletop game is called. Like okay, here's like archetypes you can follow and I guess like alter a bit to work for what you want to do. Go crazy. And I was like, yeah, I will. I'll go crazy as much as I can. Thanks. That's kind of really cool, and I really appreciate it. I'm just gonna open up this random page of like best-selling JRPGs because, well, might as well. Let's look through them. But before I do, uh, let me just finish up on what I'm talking about here. So yeah, I'm gonna be perfectly okay with what goes on with the whole uh delay situation, cause I had big like confidence that everything will turn out fine and fun. Now, uh, hopefully they can do this. Hopefully it will inspire others to try to live up to that kind of hope. But sometimes you can't live up to it. Okay, let's take this time to look at list of best-selling JRPGs. Now I won't recognize all of them. Oh, Mana. Mana is just one series. Oh wait, wait. So that means, oh, the first of the Mana games was Final Fantasy Adventure. Okay, so the first of the Mana games was Final Fantasy Adventure, but it's not like, so it's not like a real Final Fantasy game. They just decided to use its name to. Okay, Secret Mana. And then we got Trials of Mana, and then we got Dawn of Mana. Then we got Legend of Mana, Children of Mana, Friends of Mana, Heroes of Mana, Circle of Mana, Rise of Mana. This one here being their most recent one that they also released on the Vita. Okay, we got the remakes for Sword of Mana and Adventures of Mana. Hmm. Yeah, got the goddamn Megami Tensei. Ooh, speaking of Megami Tensei, hey, Atlas, you wanna help some people out and to let at least let people know that hey, Shin Megami Tensei 5, we did not forget it. Oh wait, Chrono Trigger, Radical Dreamers. That's like one of these things is not like the other. Oh, text based. Yikes. Chrono Cross and then Chrono Break. Oh, I didn't even know it was like that. They got Dragon Guard, Sakura Wars, Mega Man Battle Network, yeah. Star Ocean, Arc the Lab, Breath of Fire. I think it's Breath of Fire. All these games predate the time I was born. Sweet Coden. Sui. Let me take this off. Metabots. I haven't heard that name in a while. I haven't heard that name in a long time. Chaos Rings. What the hell is that? No, I'm putting a new window. Yo. Okay. Obviously, Square Enix basically carried the team. You know, between them and Nintendo, and I guess Bandai Namco, they really carried the JRPG. Oh, and I can't forget Atlas. Between those ones I just named, Bandai Namco, Square Enix, Nintendo, I guess Capcom. I'll give Sega their credit for the RPGs they released. And what else? Who else? Yeah, Square Enix, Bandai, Nintendo, Nintendo. Shit. Between those four and one other, Atlas, they really carried the team. They really carried Japan with the JRPG games. I mean, of course, there's others that people couldn't easily come in and say, yeah, hey, whoa, there's this series that is very underrated, buddy. Yeah, you wouldn't get it at first, but this is definitely underrated. Oh, fucking the Xeno games. Yo, shout out to the Xeno games. They really jumped between different publishers just to end up in Nintendo's hands. I want Xenoblade. I regret never playing Xenoblade Chronicles X. I hope they fucking release that game so I can on the Switch. But yeah, JRPGs, man. Square Enix really carried the team. Well, those guys carried the team, but mostly Square Enix and Nintendo. and Bandai. But I feel like Bandai for me is mostly relevant that for whenever they feel like releasing like a new Tales of game. It's 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 some wild shit. You spend so long playing all these JRPG games and you realize that damn, these games have really been released by these like specific few for so long. You don't even think twice about it. It's kind of, I guess, it's an interesting thing to think about time to time, but it's also something that makes you think, damn. Okay, well, when are these guys? This is the best-selling RPG games, right? There's definitely some that are coming out pretty damn soon, like this Inazuma 11 series. They got games that are gonna come out. Look, they gotta get a new one in 2020. Never heard this series though, cause a lot of them get overshadowed by things like basically anything Nintendo, anything Square Enix, like anything Capcom, but yeah, those guys, Sega, cause those are like the big boys, the real big boys. I mean, yeah, we got the Wise, Yeast, we got. Wait, why some of these have different like spell Capcom differently, or is that supposed to be representative of like two different stages of Capcom's life? Shit, I wonder if yeah, I should be able to see this. Uh, oh yeah, there's Hyperdimension Neptunia. I heard of that, but I never played it. And then we got Atrian Odyssey. There he is Wild Arms. Yeah, but yeah, we got all these games. We got all these games, and like some of them have something going on. Others are kind of stuck in limbo, but they got all these games, but you never really hear much about them because they get overshadowed by other series. Like, would you be talking about? Let's see, what would be a smart thing to bring up? Would you talk about between Parasite Eve, Arc the Lad? Those, what the heck is this? Hidled, hid, hidled. I can't pronounce words. And some other ones that probably haven't have much like stuff going on for them for like a long time ago. They're gonna get overshadowed by guys like Yakuza. I gotta bring up Yakuza first, cause man oh man, it's a good ass series, man. From what I've known about it, they've never that series does not have one bad game at all in any shape or form. Have these games here are owned by Square Enix. So it's not hard to say that they're like the ones that be carrying the team because half their damn like legacy are JRPGs. Even the ones that nobody gives a shit about are basically JRPGs, man. It's some wild stuff. But I'm not complaining too much because it's pretty damn funny if you get screwed, you know? Whew. Because hey, I mean we're playing these games, right? It is anyone that could say it's done dirty. It's definitely the Megami Tensei dudes. Man, Alice really said, man, Shin Megami Tensei 5 coming in the future and is never mentioned it ever again. The same could be said for anyone who's like a Bayonetta fan because literally the same thing has happened to them. They got a damn trailer Bayonetta like dropping into pieces as a way to confirm that yeah, she's getting a third game. And for what? We haven't heard about that game in a while. I don't even know what they're doing. I don't even know if they got anything planned. By the way, stop leaving people on red planning games. Stop leaving people on red about the games they want. Then they're waiting on Atlas. Uh, I can't stop thinking about how the Persona series really just pretty much replaced Shimigami as like, I guess like as like the favorite child. Like straight up, some crazy stuff. Let's see, I'm still trying to delay about the whole Australia fires topic. So I'm just gonna move on to like some random life shit that I threw in there as like an auxiliary that I hope to basically open up to like the others to talk about what they have as their bucket list. But yeah, that's topic. The bucket list, which is well, I don't really have a bucket list actually. I just want to do yeah, like one thing in the far future, which is to go on this long ass road trip from like here in the Bronx to like the West Coast. I have a specific location in mind, but I don't want to just throw it out there. But yeah, I just want to do a road trip, man, by myself too, like on my own. I mean, that's kind of dangerous at this point because I can't trust no one no more on being a stable human being. But it'll still be a pretty fun experience just to see other places in the damn country that isn't anything New York related. Like sure, I've talked a lot of shit about some of the other states, mainly like Wyoming and Idaho, because you don't think twice about them. Not even Montana, not even the Dakotas. But I still want to pass by them just to see, like, yeah, just because you don't talk about me don't mean I don't got no damn character, because they got plenty of that. They got something to show off. They may not be like this big old like thing where it's like yes the famous such and such of South Dakota, one of the favorite children of the United States. No, it's not really happening in any sort of way. Not to be rude to anyone who lived there, I'm sure it's everything's fine, but truthfully speaking, like we don't there ain't a lot going on for you guys. Not that I think, unless it's something that appears on the news and and whatnot and whatever. That that's a different thing for another time. Um, see, but yeah, I just want to see what's going on in other places. Even though I'm not, I mean, I'm not gonna stick around for too long. Worst that'll happen, that I show up to the destination I want. I sleep on like a normal like hotel for the night, like let's say like a Holiday Inn or something like that. Wake up, enjoy the intercontinental breakfast joint, and then skedaddle. You know, and if I were to do it, considering that I do have people who care about me like a lot, who probably like have a heart attack if I don't like contact them like regularly, then I definitely have to do updates on like what's going on with me. Like, yeah, I'm fine. Don't sweat it, mom and sisters and dad. I'm a okay. And as either a phone call or I send them a message about it. Um, but this is that. But doing road trips is like an expensive ass thing, you know. If I'm trying to go from like East Coast to West Coast, like the coast to coast type of road trips. Those things aren't easy to do. Like you probably spend like the whole day at worst trying to get from point A to point B. Whereas if you were to go from like one state and then go like a few states down plus like a city or two, it'll be less, obviously less than that. But it'll still be fun, but it'll be really cool to go from like, to do that. The only thing left for me to do is just to like save up the funds because that's basically a big investment, and gas money is like the most important bit of it. Having gas. Gas ain't cheap, man. And depending what car I got, I'm probably gonna depend on getting gas like a lot. And then I got food. I feel like if I were to stock up on food, I'd only really stock up on like soup. And now I'd only really spend money on like actual like meals if I'm like in a place and they got like a nice little, I guess, interesting thing that piques my interest. I'm like, okay, right, okay, this place got like this cool little uh, fusion restaurant. It's not gonna hurt my wallet too badly. Let me just walk right in and get going, get started, and enjoy what they got there. See what kind of culture they got on their part. See if they got anything different from like New York. And I guess like let's see what else we got. And then I had to pack up all whatever clothes for me to wear. Cause sometimes you stop by a hotel and like, okay, well, this is it. This is the point. This is the thing. Might as well pack up like um a hand sanitizer too for those times where you'd be stuck. You'd have to stop and be like, damn, I really gotta piss. But there won't be a rest stop for the next 3 miles, 12, whatever. Looks like I'm gonna have to take a piss on like some grass. Do piss. Then my only other concern is just driving on the highway in general, because I don't really drive on highways often. I don't even have my own car, and sometimes and as much as I normally a person would borrow their parents' car to drive around, uh, I'm just not interested, because I feel like the moment I decide to drive my mom's car, if it's not like at a good time, it's gonna be pretty inconvenient. And driving a car is already inconvenient as is in a place like New York where like everybody drives. But that means there'll be traffic a lot because of the sheer number of people that drive. And as we all know, traffic's happening because of like people doing some shit. If it's not like the city trying to fix the road or whatever, someone messing up in their driving. So it would be pretty different. But I'm definitely gonna also have to avoid driving in any shitty city because I don't want people in the shitty city like have their attention pointed at me. I don't really like standing out. And sometimes I feel like I stand out even though I probably don't. But that won't discourage me from that dream if I as long as I do stuff that make it possible. And at this point, I also mention since I don't have anyone to really force me to really like first explain where I want to go as like the actual like final destination. It's Portland, Oregon. Now, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I'm aware, Portland is not like some bumpkin ass town, but it's not like as well loved or thought about as like LA or like San Diego or like Seattle when you think about like going to the West Coast. At least I don't think so. I could be wrong. If anyone wants to like try and like correct me, please do so in the comments because you know this is a recording. But yeah, damn, I dropped my brush. But yeah, I want to just go on Portland because why not, man? Why not Portland? Portland got some cool stuff. Shit, as far from what I've seen about Portland, they got a whole bunch of food trucks. So I might as well take advantage of that. Take advantage of like seeing if they live up to like I guess their theme of being weird. Not too sure if they do, but I also am aware that, or at least I think they're also a hotbed of hipsters, and hipsters aren't very fun to be around objectively. But that's something I can power through. Shoot, be pretty cool. It'll probably be a really chill place, I hope. You know? So what they got, live my best life. Be like, yeah, I did it, you know? Mission accomplished, man. Mission accomplished. If it could be worse idea. Road trips are pretty cool. Another place that I don't think is on like a lot of people's list of places I want to take a road trip towards. Um, this one will probably be more realistic in comparison to the Portland trip, which is to go all the way down to like Virginia Beach. Not for the place itself, but for like some internet friends of mine. Another My other option would be MomoCon, to go down to Georgia for MomoCon. Much for the same reason, but also to go to my first. Well, I shouldn't say first convention because I could easily just pick the New York Comic Con for that and call it a day. But MomoCon is definitely up there, and I got some friends, so might as well take advantage of that moment, do my thing. But when it comes to like conventions, that also costs money, so I have to save up to even attempt that. Ah, man, I almost forgot. What would be the best car for road trips, man? Now, let's get some things out the way on that question. Obviously, anything that promotes good fuel economy, good gas, good like miles per gallon. That's a given, okay? At this point, that should be like a default thing for cars these days, man. Having good gas, like per mile, like good like distance per gallon, man. And so that's not really a concern, unless I'm buying like an old jalopy, which is most likely gonna happen. Then in that case, well, now I have to be really careful because sometimes some cars are just be using all of your damn gas that you put in it, all of it, and it's no fun that way. What happened? So sorry for yawning. It's kind of late for me, but yeah, that kind of stuff happens a lot. Um, I'm not too worried about it, but it's also kind of like I guess a thing of like budget. Man, roaches is just one big like budget plan that you have to worry about among just like a whole lot of other things. Like it's really a big test of how good you are at like budgeting and use your money wisely for like things like that. And shoot, I got that weird pause. And it's pretty annoying. I wonder if I have to actually crunch the freaking numbers just to make things work. And I'm not really interested in all that, but things happen. Things happen. Hmm. But I'm not complaining too much about it. I'm not stressed. At least I don't think I am. But I can't make any promises that it's gonna happen in the near future because money is always an ever looming issue, and I wish it wasn't half the time. But gotta it's a necessary evil in a society. Oh boy, really want to just I go drive down straight though, straight down to place. Turn my brain off just enough where I don't have to worry about none other than like not causing a car accident in any extent and be happy. But you know, it's like tough. Oh boy. Let's see what else. And if we're continuing on travels, hopefully by the time this whole Australian fires is finally passed and it probably won't happen again for like in the far future. Get to visit Australia. It's just one of those places. I mean, am I afraid of killing animals that'll randomly appear in my room, like a poisonous spider or poisonous snake, just appearing out of nowhere and biting me? Yeah, it's Australia, man. Them dudes be fucking you up. Shit, a lot of Australians get fucked up by them too. But I won't stop them from enjoying what they got over there, especially in the parts that isn't desert. And my only other problem is that their internet is definitely super boo boo. Or so I've heard that their internet is super fucking boo boo as shit. Like they got some sorry ass internet, which is kind of unfortunate. But I guess that's what they get for being an island founded by criminals. Ha ha. Oh man, people are gonna come at me for that one. I don't mean that out of like the malice of my heart. But it does kind of suck that they have bad internet over there. But hey, visiting like Sydney and some of the cool cities to go over there would be pretty fun. And drinking with like whatever coffee they got over there and just man, I need to clear my throat. Do I have any more water? Yes, I do. And like just hearing them dudes talk would just be like the pretty fun experience. Um, only other thing I'll probably be worried about is the travel time and the money because going from America to Australia it's gonna take forever. And like the cheapest option probably would probably just be like taking like a few stops in places. And that's not really a fun thing to do. And at this point in life, at this point especially, I'm kind of too scared to go on plane rides that take like more than 3 hours to get to a place because of like all these plane crashes and those things are on my mind. Like I've been lucky enough that the most I've ever traveled to on the planes go from like here to Dominican Republic, and that shit only takes like 3 hours. For if like for whatever reason them people at JetBlue just take forever to just get ready, and I guess even more so if nah, that's it. There's nothing more to say. It's really just that. Um, yeah, but going from like here to another place be making me nervous because sometimes I'm wondering, damn, is this gonna be the one that fucks up? Like I shouldn't even discount the part of me flying from like one place that's like here to over there. Like I shouldn't discount that because it could still happen anyways. And I don't want it to. Like I don't know. So far, JetBlue has a good rep with me. I'm being safe, and I guess I'm lucky enough for that to happen. But I'm not too sure about like anything beyond that. Um, but that's like a dark conversation to be honest. But one other thing I guess my one other thing about flying over there would be like, why do I even know about what I can do over there that I don't already do here, other than like just sitting on my ass and doing nothing but sleep or on my phone? Because the only thing I can think about doing over there is visiting museums or like enjoying whatever unique thing that they got and experiencing it over there. Let's see, what else is on my list of countries I want to visit? The classic Japan. I definitely want to visit Indonesia and Thailand and Vietnam and Singapore. In Europe, you already know the usual: Italy, France, and I guess England. But from England, I only want to go there because I kind of want to visit Ireland more, but I don't know where in Ireland specifically. Scotland too. That'd just be pretty good to be over there and be like, yeah, nice. Enjoy the greenery they got while it lasts. Maybe visit a Welsh town. See what they got going on over there. I'm then again, the Welsh language is a interesting thing, considering the kind of names to be throwing in for their towns and stuff. It's ridiculous, man. It be sounding like a damn Dr. Seuss character or a damn Dr. Seuss gadget. Then the whole Welsh language might as well be the Dr. Seuss language of like languages. It's wilding out. But yeah, those are definitely places I want to visit, mainly because of like I just never been there and I want to experience it. And I might be setting up for a little bit of disappointment because not just because I'm over there doesn't mean it's any different from anywhere else. But every country has like a level of uniqueness to enjoy that you can only say it's theirs. Even countries that basically been uh, defined by immigrants from like another country, they just end up having their own thing going on, and you get to experience it, and it just hits different. That's like riding on an Amtrak from one state to another state would be pretty fucking cool. That is an unrelated. I mean, that's unrelated, but I do really want to get on like I guess like the federal trains or whatever you want to call them that takes me from state to state. Ah, throat. Ah, it's like I had like a nail or something stuck in there. Ah man, water is good. But yeah, just take that and just just move on because those things are basically like the best alternative to like taking a plane from like one state to another state. Though I guess most people only take those trains if they're just trying to, especially go somewhere specific and not really anywhere that's like super far because I feel like there's a certain distance you gotta go through where you decide whether or not you want to take the plane or take the Amtrak. Because at least with the plane, by the time you get on it, you're sitting down comfortably. The Amtrak, you're basically outside waiting. Or least I think so. I'm pretty sure it's more. I think like I could be. I'm actually more than likely wrong. Like a good 95% wrong on that. But at least you can sit down in an airport. In Amtrak's, I've never been one, so I can't say anything about it other than like I said from like Grand Central, where they have their little shops. You can just stop by real quick and just grab a bite, a bite. I mean, a food that's overpriced if you feel like they're overpriced. But yeah, you grab a meal, you move on, and you live your best life that way. And then other than that, it's like, all right, sure. Uh, I I could have just taken a plane. It would have been shorter. So I feel like that's my mentality on this whole thing. But I do want to experience like being on a train that can travel longer distances to get to a place if it's for no real reason. So that's on my list too. A list of things that I want to do, but I need money to do it. But it's there nonetheless. Be pretty much cool to do on my own too. Cause some days I just want to be by myself and not be bothered by family. A little messed up to say, but I'm sure a lot of people's parents said like the same thing. So people will breathe. They'll live. They'll live. Yeah, and now that's over with, I might as well just at this point it's like 10:52 for me. Supposed to not too sure if my friends will be pulling up tonight, so I can just leave it off for like another day. However, I will say this about the Australian fires, which won't be surprising, but these things are awful, man. These things are just generally awful. What's happening, like with all those people being stuck in them fires, breathing in all them smoke, all those like I guess natural habitats for the animals there just getting fucked. Like when it first started happening, I didn't realize it was like that bad. Other than like for like the koalas, but as soon as it kept going, it's like it's been happening for 3 months, and a lot of their firefighters in each of the cities have been dealing with these things for 3 months. They're on overtime, trying to help people. I don't know how many homes got basically fucked up, but they're basically gone. And if not that, then there's probably a lot of like damage going on. But luckily, there's like been plenty of help from a lot of people and try to get things in order and fixed over there. So I'm happy for that much going on for these people, for the good people of Australia. Um, they're getting the help they need. It rained recently for them too, pretty heavily. So I guess that gives the firefighters some breathing room. But I'm also worried about their prime minister because it pretty much came to my attention that he sucks dick. Like just really shitty. It hasn't really done much, which isn't really all that great in the long run, since, like, you can't be doing nothing when your country's getting fucked up by fires as bad as the ones that were happening. But and there he is, just chilling, denying some things or whatever negative thing he's guilty of at the moment. But he's definitely not helping at all. And I pray everything will work out in the end, because it doesn't really feel good knowing that people have to airdrop food for wallabies because all their food is gone. Like, imagine being the guy on that plane with like a co-pilot or whatever, thinking to himself, "Man, I can't believe it. Where we're airdropping this." And his friend saying, "Yo, we're airdropping this in Australia to like the marsupials, bro. Them fucking wallabies, bro." Oh, what? Like, I don't know. Something about that just feels kind of like messed up, because like it doesn't feel good knowing they had to airdrop food to wallabies, man. It's like one thing for people, but for animals, those dudes shouldn't really have too much problem finding anything to eat unless you're like a polar bear. In that case, then you're kind of fucked. But yeah, these things don't feel good to knowing that it's a thing. God can only know what would happen next. They, all them fucking dudes in Australia got like, uh, got hit by something bad. I don't know what would be next, but I don't want it to happen. At least not for a long time. But I guess it can't be avoided. Um, yeah, climate change is some real shit, man. I don't know why people want to deny it being a thing. I guess it got something to gain from it. I guess, like, at the same time, it's not like. No, they don't got anything to gain from denying his existence. I don't know what game people play saying it's not a real thing. I mean, I talked about a bunch of times with some friends of mine. A lot of them don't like the fact that people talk about the Earth is dying when it's really just the Earth will be fine. It's really us who are fucked. But me, me myself, I, I'm not gonna say the Earth is dying, but it's a real thing. This is bad, and I feel like people should still take it seriously, because, like, you gotta survive, and the best way to survive is to, like, not get hit by the thing, by something that you have control over. It's one thing that some event occurs, a and it just wipes us out. Nothing you can do about that. But this, I feel like we have enough control to, like, back up a bit on it. Not double down on like the bad decisions made. But that's asking for a lot. But yeah, uh, this is no bueno, and I hope people at least get it together. But then again, there are places out there in the world that just doesn't have a way to handle whatever environmental issues they got going on, because they just lack funding and the ability to educate anyone on it. So kind of stuck. But yeah, this has been the Untitled Goon podcast. My name is 9C Soul. And this has been a solo episode with me. And this might have been bumpy. I wanted to live stream it, but like my internet keeps getting fucked up. So I recorded this out. I did the best I can. Um, and I hope you enjoy my little tidbits. Next time I'll have the boys around if they're not too busy, and everything will be back to normal. Peace.